murdered 4 people in broad daylight, within a mile of jail and a block of the hospital. It's a very, very scary thing. What can we, is there anything we can do to try to avoid that?
Well, first thing, I want to say this. I want to go back to the border. That's the root of a lot of our drug trafficking areas. That's also the human trafficking situation, and also people making unlawful entry in and out. Bad guys, just like you said. What concerns me, if a person commits an assault on a female upon you, Representative Stevens, and that person was illegal, he went through the processing, the 287G for security, and we processed him. He served his 30 days in jail, whatever his time sentence was. Immigration picks him up, and they deport him back to whatever country he comes from. And then, because we have such open borders, that person can come trot right across. Now, I can tell you, I've been there, I've looked, I've seen it. They don't have an officer like at the Capitol with an officer on every corner or every block. I mean, they're far in between. And down there in Pinell County and Cochise County, you're talking 5,000 or 6,000 square mile counties. I come up from a 565 mile square county, and I thought I was a big county. So again, I think it's immigration's law, it's these programs that help us, tools, it's securing that border. And if the laws are not working at the federal level, then they need to be fixed, but we've got to be committed to moving forward and fix them.
Okay, Representative Jones.
I just want to follow up on the last question, and Sheriff Johnson, your answer, you mentioned that you felt it would be helpful if every person that's arrested for a moving violation or whatever was brought to the processing center. Obviously, when they're arrested or when they're stopped, they're showing your officer a driver's license. North Carolina, if they're living in North Carolina driver's license. Now, I've been told by DMV workers that they're not allowed to follow up on any questions regarding immigration status, illegal immigration, that type of thing. It seems like that might be one point of entry that we could look at. We'll get your feedback on that. But then I guess beyond that, are you saying that you would be concerned enough perhaps about a falsely obtained license or a counterfeit license or so forth, that even if you had that, would you still want to come to the processing center? If I could show you a North Carolina driver's license that's clearly me, and we had something in place at that level that determined that I was a citizen of the United States, would that be satisfactory, or do you feel?
I think that would be satisfactory in that situation. Or if I knew who you were, that you weren't lying to me. I was talking to some officers a while back. I was over in the courtroom, and I think it was 62 individuals called out for failing to appear in court. All had foreign names. Okay. I was talking to this sergeant at this department. He said, well, frankly, I really don't care because I don't have to hunt them down. Well, the sheriffs do. And the money that is spent in personnel time and gasoline and even the court system and issuing those papers for people that don't exist. And these are the things I think we need help from Rock. We need your help. We need all of your help to look at these issues. And I really appreciate the opportunity to come down and talk with you and hear the concerns of the people here. There are also a lot of consequences. Can I take just a second and show something? Now, folks, what I did, I went around to show you this wasn't common to Alamance County.
Oh, just a minute. We did have one other question here, Representative Pierce.
Mr. Chairman, what is the latitude this committee going to deal? We're going to, it's like we're going to, both the sheriffs talk to us about helping them with the criminal aspect. But now we're going to get into discussing Representative Starnes asked the question, why are people coming here? I mean, if you start talking about, it's a lot, what would be the latitude to this committee? How far are you going to allow us to debate what we're going to debate in this committee?
Okay, I know we have legal limits, is what we do as far as federal law is concerned. However, part of our charge is to look at a report in May and possible legislation. So that's basically the charge, is what the latitude that I'm going to take is exactly what the charge says, possible legislation. So our members and the committee can recommend legislation at that time. If it comes out of this committee, I understand it's eligible next year also, if it does come from the committee. So that's the latitude I've got so far. We can that can be part of discussion.
Thank you.
You can see some of it. But you see headlines, and a lot of these people were previously deported for other crimes, come back in and committed major crimes. A lot of the agencies that areas these occurred did not have the 287G program, did not have secure communities, and have previously arrested some of these people. And they were processed, deported, come back and committed other crimes. And now with the secure communities, we're able to find out that these individuals may have been previously deported, but there's several, and I'm telling you, they're serious crimes. This is not driving crimes. Several, I know, in Alamance County, Wilson, North Carolina.
Federal and state and local generally are governed by federal law. The Plyler v. Doe case from the early 80s requires K-12 education to be provided to all students. With respect to the other categories, what constitutes a benefit provided by federal law? There's certain things that have to be provided to everyone. Like immunizations, in-kind disaster relief. There's a list of them. And then in addition to that general definition, there are all sorts of specific requirements in particular contexts. For example, there were some hospitals funded, and this isn't my area of expertise, but my understanding is that there were some hospitals funded at one point, and a condition of the grant was that immigration status not be asked of people that are being helped by those hospitals. I think it may have been called the Hall-Burton Act. I really have to get back to you on that. But the reason I mention it here is to tell you that not only are there general federal statutes as well as federal cases, but there are also very particular requirements in specific contexts. So if you wanted to hear from us about, or somebody else about, what is required and what is optional, that could be arranged, but that, I think I pretty much told you what to tell you right now.
Follow-up.
Then basically, $2 billion that we're spending on illegal immigrants in North Carolina every year. We have very little flexibility in defunding any of those programs. Is that be accurate statement?
That's my understanding, yes.
President Jones?
Thank you, Chairman. Just to follow up on the comment there, I mean, some of these issues would be probably involved with these Arizona, Alabama style laws that are currently have been or are being passed by states, and that's in litigation, and that's working its way up the court ladder to be decided. Is that not right?
I know that some of the issues, yes, there is some overlap. I mean, for example, the Alabama law contains a provision requiring that immigration status of K-12 students be determined, and it's been alleged that that violates the Plyler v. Doe mandate that education be provided to all students. So there is some overlap. That's right.
Well, just to clarify that, the Alabama legislation does not prohibit children who are not legally from attending school. So there, because of the U.S. Supreme Court case law, I don't think if the number, if that is the number of what it costs to educate children in K-12 that are here illegally, you wouldn't be able to shift that unless you just changed the number of children here illegally. So whatever number you have, whether it's 1 or 1 million, that number is going to affect that cost. And so far, the U.S. Supreme Court has not overruled itself on that issue.
Did I answer the question? President Clinton?
Staff has indicated that possibly could see some funding here. We could look at state funding that's including these $2 billion. I'd like to know what that funding is, where it comes from.
Okay. Other comments and questions to the staff? President Paula? Thanks for joining us.
Something that I had scheduled for the two quick questions, and I will be asking this question of the sheriff. in any committee dealing with law enforcement, not just this. Sheriff's Association was helpful to me 2 years ago in passing a bill that allows the taking of a picture of people in violation of 20-29 and 20-30, which is unwilling or unable to produce a driver's license to a law enforcement officer, so that that picture from the neck up can be attached to that ticket, so that when they go through the court system, which is happening 12 times a week in Forsyth County, if somebody's appearing in front of a district court judge, nobody can determine who these people are. And this could be any nationality, any legality, any kind of person, period. You know if that law of taking the picture and neck up for those violations is
I think those that are brought into the mayor's office and are quarantined, through NC Ware, we have picture of that individual on the form. Those that are written citations out on the road, turn loose, we have no idea.
just to follow, just a reminder, the law does allow, because what's happening is George Cleveland knows enough about me, and I know enough about him, that I could give his information on the side of the road, or he could give my information for speeding, and then we get to the next rest stop, we just swab that up and go away, and then issue a warrant for the rest of the person. So that tool does exist for sheriffs to use, thanks to the sheriff's.
Let me tell you, what you just said, we're dealing with right now, a lot in Alamance County, a brother would get a ticket, use his brother's name and stuff, and that brother's license has been taken, and several times I've dealt with it, and trying to get that undone after it's done is a big headache.
What we found when we were running that legislation is 75% of the cases where I stole Representative Cleveland's identity or he stole mine. It's the victim that settled the identity theft because when presented with a picture of who it was on the side of the road, 75% of the cases, the victim knows the person who used their name. So the victim is actually solving these crimes for you. So any use of that law, which is a tool that's in the toolbox, I think would go a long way toward unclogging this whole thing.
You're absolutely right, and let me tell you, we've had situations where we've stopped an individual from a foreign country, and they gave us their cards and stuff, but we had no picture, and then they said they have a North Carolina driver's license, and they used somebody's name. Well, we were able to run that name and then get a picture retrieved from our computers, from our central communication, and it was not the individual. It's where they had false documents using somebody else.
I will say that this, when we were investigating this with the Sheriff's Association, this goes for any color, any nationality, or any legality. We have people whose brothers have been born and raised in North Carolina, whose brothers have shipped overseas in the service, and use their brother's identity. So this could happen to any kind of person in law enforcement.
Absolutely.
Okay.